Hey, welcome everybody. West Coast Uncensored, nickname D Boy, actually Daniel. Yeah, I had to go in and do this video today. I got some alone time because I had been planning to do videos and I was going to do the sharing and showing everything. I live in Southern California, in Orange County. The fires are away from me, but the aspect of the energy and what you feel and the anticipation and the dropping of frequency of loss for the people. I'm speaking energetically in the people in the area. I don't care if you're a Hollywood movie star, or just a regular millionaire, or just a regular family who lost everything. Is more and more. I'm going to go on this off the cuff more instead of sharing and going all the conspiracies, so called. I really hate that word because I can tell you where it comes from. It comes from the agencies that always do things to get create things, and we take the bite and then we run with it when they created it, and then what's it do? It volumes up and interjectedly creates their reality using us as projectors. But I'm going to stop there. I'm going to go. This is going to go a different way. I'm going to give you an observation of how I feel, how I think, and just kind of more a collective view of what we see and what's really happening. And I'm gonna deal with some issues, some things that happened at the same time. All this happened to LA and all them, and anybody that sees this that has loss from these fires. My heart goes out to you. My frequency of love and empathy definitely go out to you. Um, just um, hope your mindset can build and keep going and not be too distraught. And I know there'll be depression because there's a lot of loss. Loss can be whether it's from pets, humans, houses, and I'm going to tie this even into the material world. Um, but let's start with where I'm going to start from. So we had this event of the fires, right? That started with Pacific Palisades. But let's go into the pre-show of that. The prelim. How do you say it? Pre-show. I'm just going to use the word prelinnium of what happened before that. First of all, we started off the week before that in the fact that we had a confession um, from Facebook talking about how that he was sorry. They made mistakes during the 4 years of the div, if you know what I'm talking about, and how that affected their fact checkers and all the things that he was just going on and on about. What I see is that we're dealing there's so much ingenuous stuff going around. I didn't see anyone in my discernment genuine about what you said, your apology. You're supposed to be so educated and smart and degreed up. You didn't know you're breaking constitutional rights? Come on. And when I see that, I just like, man, how long will humanity keep falling for stuff that's and not have the activity of being activated where you can sense stuff, where your intuition, your claircognizance, your clairvoyant or clairsentience doesn't work and tell you exactly what's going on. But most people did. I've heard people just going off just on general stuff saying that this is not even from the conscious community about this. I've heard not too many people in the conscious community actually that I listen to speak about this. I know Archaics has a good one coming up, but that's going to be all the plan. I'm going to come a different way. I'm coming in a holistic way. Is when you have that aspect, he comes and he does that, right? And gives us a public apology for really having fact checked systems and how he called his systems did it. And I'm going, your systems are AI. They had to be programmed by somebody. They don't run on their own. They don't have the human element of aspect of having consciousness. Computers are tools other people that men create and program. And what I'm saying is that when you look at that, and then we had that day, Jimmy Carter, we have the fires and all these political presidents, all of them, are sitting up there at Jimmy Carter's funeral. But I'm looking and going, looking at them, discerning them, even seeing this episode of Obama and Trump talking, and Kamala in front of them, almost making a soap opera of their, like she's anxious about them talking about her, right? And I'm like, this is the world of the elites. And I'm going to say all these that are presidents and all of them that were there are nothing but the elites puppet. They're really not the elites. What they are used by the elites, and they're put in front of us as actors, actresses, just to conjure up a story that leads us into all like the whole world's a stage, right? And then when I look at it, I'm going, this is not really this isn't the regular people like that work 9 to 5s, that just live, that aren't so-called elites. And what I'm saying is, you burn, you build back better, which also comes with the destroying to build back. But that's left out, that you're going to have to go through the cleansing of fire, because this actually is an element of cleansing, and purification is fire. It is. It's in the Bible. It's called a refiner's fire. In alchemy, it's the fire that purifies your soul by going through the alchemical process. The fire in alchemy cleanses your soul as it starts taking out the ego. It's connected to your soul, so you can start working towards the pure soul, or getting the dross off the gold so the gold could become more pure. And really, all this is a materialism, and we've lost the insight of nature. How would you prevent a fire if it was just there? I mean, the indigenous people have known this for thousands of years, that you take out bush, you burn, you have controlled fires so it never becomes a big fire during the fire season. This isn't new knowledge. This is very indigenous knowledge that people had for thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of years. But yet, we know there's probably a purpose, because it's all about materialism. I mean, this is what's happened. We're living in a material world that has no, the leadership, so-called leadership of the elites. They don't care anything about spiritual things. Yes, they'll use occultic knowledge negatively for power, for like getting stuff, but not for the connectivity of a unity of the people being one, which you can use it for occultic knowledge. I get so tired. I was watching a TV show, right, the other day, that my wife was watching, and I really never watched this show too much, because my mindset is I don't want to watch it. It was what was it, the three girls who are witches. But I watched it and I started listening to the conversation. I go, this is very occultic knowledge, because I know occultic knowledge. You can brand me as an occultist. I am, but I'm not an occultist to destroy. I'm an occultist to, occult means knowing is, I'm an instrument of hidden knowledge, because I've dived into occultism. I've dived into hidden knowledge. It can grow you and ascend you, or you can use it for power to control, greed. The other side of it could be used for greed, wealth, power, because they're just hungry for power and more technology, the elites, resourceful. But going to the show, I heard the interaction with some of them. I go, ooh, that's occultic knowledge. I know what they're talking about, which harmonizes with other truths. So I was listening to that and I go, I really didn't watch this show fully, but I'm almost ready to watch it. And I can't even remember the name of it, but you know, I think you know what I mean. The three witches with the symbol of the symbol that's on it is actually the symbol on John Bonham's drum set from Led Zeppelin. The three circles and three chain circles interconnected, right? Which is a very ancient symbol that has greatness to it and harmony when used for its original intent. But I'm just looking at, we look at the elites and we look at the system. It's so materialistic, and when you're materialistic, you become soulless. And I mean, to the degree you're willing to not harmonize with Earth, you're willing, not ready to harmonize, you'll destroy something. Earth has a harmonization. Uh, People have a harmonization when you connect to nature. Higher knowledge, nature is the first program. This technology is okay when it's used to support our consciousness, like getting some technology to heal you that is available but won't because it destroys a system that's not designed to do that. Get my Tokyo Drift medical system. And Tokyo has a way better, Japan has a way better medical system than we do. Go look at the rankings. We're not up in the top, but weapons, DEW, you know what DEW is? Direct energy weaponry. And it's not new. It's been around. Kind of like I'm looking at this and Marissa says, looking at this because she's fearful. We live here, and she, a woman in those fear of being safe, right? She kind of comes up in her, and she says they know how to control the weather. All they would have to do was create rain over it because that weaponry has been around since probably the 40s. The English admitted it. Come on, we need to quit playing. And I know a lot of people just don't know and go into the system and just are just lower degrees of consciousness because everybody has consciousness. Some are in a very infantile state of 1D, 2D. I hope you're not 1D. Come out of 1D and 2D because you're just a succubus and a leecher, which really we call them elites, but I see them as 1D and 2D materialists. They're always wanting to suck your energy to create and use your projectors to create something that they want. And I'm not getting into the conspiracies, which I plan to do, but I'm coming from the heart today that we as a people just don't harmonize with nature anymore. We've been conditioned to be in technology is the answer, and technology, the first technology is nature. That's the connective vibe. Like my show says, the connective vibe is nature. Fires are nature. Fire, earth, wind, air, connected to everything in creation. Everything in alchemy, everything in science. They can give you, and let's understand some things. Some of the science that we're seeing today from these is nothing but just activated. It's just religion. And the religion of something. Notice religion. Jesus casted out the legions and they jumped in the pigs, and the pigs jumped over the hill into the water in the biblical story, right? And then so you have religion. It's religion you again. It's mind control, but there's always an esoteric and an exoteric part of it. When and I'm big on understanding. A foundation is understanding what's esoteric and what's exoteric. Exoteric is for everybody. Esoteric's for the elites, and then they misuse it. Come on now, I'm gonna tell the truth. We ain't gonna play the games. But anyways, so I'm kind of going all over the place, but I'm coming from the heart. We just lost that. So here we go. We have this. Go back to Jimmy Carter. Jimmy Carter has his funeral. Everybody's saying all these nice things while LA's burning down. They're all there, and I'm thinking they're all celebrating the life of an elite president because the girl, this girl, whatever, 10, 14 years ago, 10, 13, 15 years ago, did a project and deep dived in her project of education. Guess what she found out? It's very easy to find this girl. This is not new. She found out all the elites are related. Yes, Obama's related. Doesn't matter skin color. As you know, anybody can marry anybody and you have children with them. Mixing of races is not new. And then we deal with this material world that everything is connected to. What are they going to build back after they destroyed it? What are the elites doing? And they may have plans. I'm not denying that. This is what I was going to do in my first video. I was going to put out what people said. I actually have it ready to go on some of the things that were said that this was about and stuff. But I'm coming from the collective heart on this collective vibe today. And this isn't really collective. I'm going to call this the off the cuff. Is we've lost contact how to harmonize with nature. Even to the fact that we house ourselves in houses to be not connected with nature because we know nature can be cold, it can be rough, and we may not want to live outside, right? But we've still disconnected from nature. We live in a sidewalk, concrete jungle, which disconnects us from nature. That's why it's called, that's even why commerce is called commerce in business in that is connected to the commerce or to the cement, because it's connected to the stones, it's connected to the graves. It's death. That's why you have a concrete jungle. It's disconnected you. Then we have shoes that have these rubber soles, like the Beatles said in their album called Rubber Soul, was this will not, this will, doesn't give you the electric magnetic upgrade of grounding that we need. So we have all these disconnections that have blocked the raising of consciousness and rebooting yourself. Even if you don't go out in nature, you need to go out in nature just to ground, whether it's the beach, whether it's someplace in nature, the mountains, the hills. And then when you start realizing these aspects are there that have been discarded and not even counted no more, a lot of things that we see is that's coming from the headquarters of this system doesn't have anything to do with harmonizations. It's all division. Let's cut out one because it's no good to have another because it's no good. And I know some of it's not good, but doesn't mean because the ones that got on your board, your ship, and told you that was no good, that they're good. When I see them sitting together at the funeral with everybody who's Democrat and Republican supposed to be like this with each other, the fighting, but they're sitting there laughing and joking and harmonizing, when if it was truth, you would not like the other side. You wouldn't if it was truth, because you realize you villainize them for the villainous things they did, but then you're sitting up there having a meal with them. And then everything's about technology. Don't get it wrong with these elites. They're not looking out for your best interest of harmonization and unity and oneness, either side, red or blue. The harmonization centered, not polarized and staying in one side to the other. I know the last 4 years through the play, which is really longer than that, but really manifests during COVID, how corrupt, especially the left is. I mean, it got so corrupt, it was like common sense, kneel and none. It's like kneel and none. It's like, what the hell are you talking about? The other side comes in as a savior, but they're really related to this other ones, because these guys are all related. You thought the blue bloods left, they never left. They've always been here. There are some people that it appears to be in those ones that came here in what we call the forefathers group. They were all Freemasons. Actually, I'm going to spill a little stuff on them. When they say freedom for religion, it was not. It was freedom from religion, and the religion they were wanting freedom from, they were talking about, was Catholicism, because they know if those cats get here, they'll bring the banking system with them, and then we're fried and done, like Europe's fried and done because of the banking system. They've said it. It's been quoted many times by many people over history. Even Mark Twain made these quotes. Mark Twain's full of wisdom if you go look at some of his quotes. So what I'm saying is this thing gets real. The prompting of the book of Revelations is the acting of what's happening here, which I went over if you watch my other videos. Doesn't come from Christianity, also more ancient book, but they adopted it, hijacked it, and presented it that way. But we're not in connection with nature. We're not trying to harmonize. We're worried about what we're going to build on something that we build upon. I lived in this area before, and I've mentioned here I've had a lot of experience with the unseen. I've had what they call these experiences, right? I have. I've definitely had experiences. So when I lived in a certain area that was over near a Native American area, this park, which was across the street from us, which showed certain things. And then I started noticing, I started having these situations that I haven't had when I moved, that had there. I was not fearful of it. Marissa was. We'd have stuff on our, like almost a champagne bottle, but it wasn't it looked like one. It was a Kangen water bottle, but looked like a champagne bottle. It was blue. We had a pink one, and it would say Kangen water, and it looks like a champagne bottle that you could fill up with Kangen water. And it actually just flew off. I'm telling you the truth. Should I tell you guys this? Yes, it flew off, flew and went into the sink and didn't break. And then I started wondering and looked into, and I go, I wouldn't doubt this is a Native American burial area that they just built over. This is why I'm saying this, the building over. Destroying something and this building over, but not honoring nature. Nature will use fire. But when it's not really using the harmonization and connected to nature of them that are in greed and power and 1 and D frequencies, even though they may have all the spiritual occultic knowledge, but used for the hijacking of. This is why people would say you don't teach it to people who are not ready to get it, because they can misuse it. That was a lot of the mystery school teaching. You're not ready for a mystery school. We're not going to teach you this. And I had to even realize this for me just on a lower realm basis, dealing with people. I can't tell people the truth. Now I'm cognizant now in my discernment of what I can share with you and what I can't, because I got corrected by that with my higher self. I got corrected that, saying you cannot give initiated knowledge to the uninitiated, and I get it. And then another thing that came to me before that one really topped me off. It was like, Danny, stop. Because I started understanding as I started learning the different occult mysticism, occultism, hermeticism, alchemy, Gnosticism. I started looking at all these different disciplines that were used for disciplines for spiritual growth in the past, like a school, universal mystery school knowledge, were these universities can tell, but I won't go there. I've said that many times. Copy from, but don't use this knowledge for the programming. Go look up the 1907 school board meeting. Look up mine. You can go type in mine. It was a few years ago, 1907 school board meeting, and you go, oh, dang. And it's there for you. It's undeniably there for you to find out what your school system's really intent was. And you think you got degrees. But anyways, back to this and then building over it. But nobody's honoring nature. It's all honoring technology. If they're doing it to make smart cities, it's all about technology. It's all about technology's their master. Technology becomes the god. Technology becomes what's used. And the nature aspect of it is pushed aside. Nature doesn't count anymore, even though we know it's the first program when you're awakening. It's a program that's connected to you, is through this. We as a people got to harmonize and look at this. So I'm going to revert back right where I'm in now. Let's go back to that day I mentioned. We had, what's his name? I was going to even do videos on Zuckerberg repenting, but it sounds so ingenuous. It's like, really? You didn't have enough common sense to know when you were taking people's posts down that you were breaking the constitutional law? I don't buy a thing he said. Really don't. Discernment. You're laughable. Yeah, you're laughable, Zuckerberg. Laughable. We don't buy you. But then, notice that just recently he's rushed on to the platforms that we think are telling us the truth, but I believe they're totally part of it. And that's Rogan, PDD. They may be showing you some stuff the other side, but this goes into harmony of the unveiling. Things are coming out doesn't mean anything when you're deeper and understand that the hijacking and deceptiveness goes with the process. So you have Zuckerberg, then you have these presidents, these elite blue bloods who are all related, even though they act like they're enemies. Don't be surprised at Kamala when you do the deep dive. She's related to them. I'm just being honest. Scratch my ears tingling. Frequencies starting to hum, but in a different frequency. So when I looked at this, I'm just like looking at this and saying, in my soul, and I'm like, my higher self, my soul, what do you see? And I just started looking. The disconnectedness of unity and oneness in nature is just there. It's just not being absorbed. They're giving us technology, and we think it's this. They're over there honoring another elite, Jimmy Carter, while LA's on fire with no water. We have a mayor out of town, out of the country, not out of town. And we have a governor. What I have to say is these aren't the people to honor. These aren't the people to look to. These are the people that would be your worst enemy and can be, but they will also do good for you. because that's a game. If I treat you good, then you'll like me and think I'm for you. It's very diabolical, but very wisdom, but very diabolical and very disingenuous. Us as a people who are the most powerful ones, we the people doesn't really matter to them. It's us raising and coming to the collective and connecting to nature, because what it ends, change always happens. So I believe this will force a lot of people will leave California, because they're going to, even the so-called celebrities who supported all this, that they voted in California. Even though I'm going to tell you both sides are fixed and do their deals, and actually someone side, the Democrats have destroyed the state for years and decades and generations. My grandfather told me that when I was 10, they're going to destroy this state. Watch it. He since passed 30 something years ago, but he prophesied this. I'm going to call it a prophecy, prediction, that they would destroy it. He was observing and always mentioned this. My grandfather always mentioned this, that politicians are no good. Phonies, fakes, and frauds. He always said that. Didn't get the depth of going into the knowledge. I think that more came later, but he didn't trust them through the intuition he had. And I'm here to tell you that we are lacking. And we need to get back to ourselves to understand we are one, and harmony with nature is what this is about, not harmony against nature. Am I against technology? No. Am I against misuse of technology? It's a trap. Once again, am I against technology? And I'll clarify, if it assists us, assists your consciousness. If it's not replacing your consciousness, it's glory. It's good. We can get some people on some electrical uh, uh, technology and heal their body. I mean, heal, not replace it with a pill. Heal. I mean, we're talking about, that's worth a dance. That's worth the love. But when it's used to replace you, you'll lose yourself. And that's would be the thing I would be for the younger people who've been raised on it. I'm older. I wasn't. It didn't come till later in my life. I knew what it was to not have a phone. I played outside, played in nature as a kid. You had to make us, my generation, come in. Once again, you had to make my generation come in. I'm going to stop this because I'm not done, but I'm getting to this 30-minute mark, and I'm going to start anew. So this is the end of part one. We will do a part two.